Hey everyone, and welcome back to Men Can Be Anorexic. My name is Connor, and for this week's video, I'd like to talk about veganism. More specifically, I'd like to talk about my use of veganism in the past to cover up the fact that I was anorexic. But as always, before I say more, a quick trigger warning for anyone who's currently going through or recovering from anorexia, just because I might say some stuff that could potentially be triggering or upsetting, and the last thing I want to do with any of this content is put anyone in a bad place. Towards the end of the fall semester of my sophomore year of college, I very suddenly decided to go vegan. No meat, no eggs, no dairy. All of a sudden, I no longer wanted to eat or drink anything related to animals. And in case you're wondering, no, I hadn't even been vegetarian before making this decision. One day, I was very happy to eat basically anything you put in front of me, and the next, I was determined to cut a wide range of foods completely out of my diet. At the time, I thought I was going vegan for all the right reasons. I thought I was doing it to reduce my carbon footprint and to take a personal stand against animal cruelty. What I didn't realize was that my real motivation was to severely restrict my caloric intake. I can already hear people typing, so before I say more, I want to clear something up really quick. I recognize that it's entirely possible for vegans to get all the calories they need. It is not at all my intention to suggest that everyone who eats vegan is suffering from anorexia. When I say that I used veganism as a cover-up, I'm referring to the fact that a lot of vegan staples are relatively low in calories. Rice, beans, nuts, vegetables, fruits, and so on. Because I was largely subsisting on these low-calorie foods and at the same time very much cutting back on my portion sizes, I lost a lot of weight in a short period of time. Weight that I couldn't really afford to lose considering I was only about 160 pounds to begin with. And for someone of my height, that's not a lot of weight. At this point, it's been about 3 years since my very sudden decision to go vegan. And to this day, it's incredibly weird for me to think about. I'm repeating myself here, but I think it's worth emphasizing that I had no conscious intention of being anorexic. At that point in my life, I didn't even know men could suffer from eating disorders. In my mind, I was just making a simple change in order to live more closely in line with my personal values. Until my family sat me down and told me to my face that I was anorexic, I had no idea what was going on inside my head. As of May 2018, which at the time of this recording is about a year and a half ago, I'm back to eating all animal products, including meat. And after a couple years of self-reflection, I think my experience with veganism and anorexia went down something like this. In the months leading up to my first year of college, I developed some anxiety around the so-called freshman 15. I plan to make a whole video about the freshman 15 in the near future, but for anyone who doesn't know, it basically refers to the tendency of new college students to put on a little weight when they get to campus. Because I was so nervous about falling into this freshman 15 trap, the summer before I left for college, I decided I would turn over a new leaf. Basically, once I got to campus, I was going to make a concerted effort to eat more healthy, and I did. And over the course of that first year of college, even though I continued to eat dairy and meat and eggs without much of a second thought, I think my initial anxiety around the freshman 15 slowly morphed into an intense fear of weight gain in general. And then we get to the beginning of my sophomore year of college, and I'm starting to learn more about this thing called plant-based eating, otherwise known as veganism. Now, I can't be sure of this, of course, but I think I must have subconsciously identified veganism as a way to restrict myself without explicitly becoming anorexic. Trust me, I know that sounds a little forced, and it's definitely weird for me to think about my brain working in such an insidious way, but honestly, that's the best explanation I can come up with. With all that being said, what is my point with this video? I think the main idea I'm trying to communicate is pretty simple, and that's the fact that anorexia can manifest in different ways. In some cases, it can manifest in a way that's impossible to overlook, like if your friend decides he's only going to eat one small meal every day. That's a pretty obvious indicator that something is wrong. But in other cases, in cases like mine, people who are suffering can find more indirect, kind of veiled ways to restrict their eating, sometimes through lifestyle choices like veganism. Until I was forced to face the truth about what was really driving my behavior, I was able to easily explain away my refusal to eat things like pizza and ice cream just with the fact that I was vegan. I know now, of course, that the real explanation was far less noble. Someone in your life may decide to go vegan for all the right reasons and continue to live a very happy, very healthy life, but as my experience shows, that decision may also be based on an intense fear of gaining weight. As always, I would encourage you to keep an eye on their behavior and see if this decision to go vegan coincides with an addiction to exercise, or a food ritual, or an obsession with nutrition facts. And I think I will leave it at that for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Down in the description box, you'll find the phone number for the Anorexia, Nervosa, and Associated Disorders hotline, which you or anyone you know can call if you're looking for immediate help. Thanks so much, and look out for the next video in which I'll be talking about exercise and how my addiction to exercise played a huge role in my experience with anorexia. I know that's true of many other people's experiences, so I think it's definitely worth a conversation. Thanks so much, and see you then.